What's up, weirdos? I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and it's Sunday night. I have my little tea and I just finished watching Archive 81, and oh do I have thoughts. Now before we do anything, I have to give a special shout out. So there I was, sitting, watching the first episode, having a grand old time, and who should come across my screen but Kate Eastman. Kate plays Tamara and is an actress I worked with in New York a few years ago, and I just had to say that seeing someone that I know is such an incredible actress and who is so hardworking succeed and see her on this show that today is #1 on Netflix, it's the joy I need to people. Like, there is really nothing better than seeing someone succeed who really deserves it. So well done, Kate. So proud of you. Everybody cast her. Let's get into it. Archive 81 is about a film archivist hired to restore a collection of mysterious tapes. He finds himself reconstructing the work of a filmmaker and her investigation into a dangerous cult in the 90s. Now, heads up, I am going to be talking about spoilers in this video, so if you haven't checked out the show yet, go do that and then meet me back here. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this is the Occult TV show I have been waiting for, but it doesn't even stop there. We have the 90s, we have the occult, we have cults, we have different dimensions, timelines, the use of technology and demon calling. I mean, this show really has it all. And I do want to say that this is based on a podcast that has, I believe, 3 seasons. So you better believe that I'm going to start listening to that tomorrow morning on my commute. Now let's really get into the specifics of what I liked about this show. First of all, the occult stuff felt so specific to me. I feel like I see so many horror movies where they're just like generally like, ooh, witchy, spooky, devil. But this is like, no, this is the demon Kalego. This is its demon prayer song. Here is its statue. Here's all the ways to call upon it. Here are the emotional complexities of this demon. Like, the lore around Kalego in this show feels like they created this like deep wealth of interesting stuff. By the way, the demonic prayer song also is like very haunting and beautiful. Love that. The next thing I really liked is how they mixed technology and the occult, which I feel like in a lot of movies doesn't work that well. It's like when a movie has a bunch of kids go to a cabin in the woods and they just have no cell service because we don't like to see modern day technology mixed with like ancient, scary, dark magic stuff. But in this, it just works so well. But the way they use technology in this show is to link us with 2 timelines. So in current day, we have Dan, who is the film archivist. He's been given a whole lot of money to clean this mold off of these videotapes. And these tapes lead us to Melody's timeline in the 90s, where she is videotaping her investigation of this Visser apartment building that she believes has a cult residing in it, and she is going there because she's looking for her mother. She's been lured to this building with the hope of finding out who her mother was. So she's filming all this stuff, and then we have Dan in present day fixing the tapes and watching it, and then we get a blend of watching her tapes and then her narrative storyline unfold. And the technology by the end of the show is being used as a portal for this demon to come through, and as part of the occult ritual to call upon this demon. I mean, it's crazy. And that's what I liked, is technology is used as a tool in this show and has like really specific purposes versus just kind of like willy-nilly being there. Okay, and now off of that connection between Dan and Melody, I also want to talk about the fact that not only do they have the communication through these videotapes, but they're also sort of meeting each other in this dream world where their dimensions are sort of crossing over in a way. And so with both those things, we have these 2 characters that are living in different times connecting. It actually reminds me of the Korean horror film The Call that came out in 2020, which I think is a remake of another movie, but basically you have 2 girls that live in the same house many years apart, and they start to form a relationship, a friendship, by talking on the landline in the house, even though they're on different timelines. Great movie, I think also on Netflix. The next thing I loved is just our cast of characters. So in our modern timeline, we have Dan, his best friend Mark, played by Matt McGorry from Orange is the New Black. And he, funnily enough, plays a podcast host that does like conspiracy, spooky stories on a podcast. By the way, my podcast does something very similar. Sinister Sisters. Okay. And then we have everyone that lives in the building in the 90s. And it's all these like very strange tenants that are all very different from each other. We have a few that are mystical, I'll say. We have Cassandra, played by Kristen Griffith. Tamara, once again, played by Kate Eastman. And Beatrice Reyes, played by Sol Miranda. And these are kind of our spooky ladies of the building. At one point, we have Beatrice leading a seance in Cassandra's apartment and having one of the biggest like horror gore moments of the series that is so shocking and amazing. And then our other two main folks, we have Samuel, who leads the cult, and he is played by Evan Jonakit, who is no stranger to movies about cults and the occult. He was in The Night House, one of my favorite movies of 2021, and The Empty Man, another one of my favorite movies from 2021. Clearly, I like movies about the occult. And then last but not least, a shout out to Jess, played by Ariana Neal. She is the young, cool kid in the building that becomes friends with Melody and then ends up almost becoming a sacrifice. I mean, they just do such a great job of either making you really intrigued and drawn to a character or care a lot about them and want nothing bad to ever happen to them. And the last big thing I'll say about this show is that it really is a mystery ride. There are twists and turns the entire time up until the last shot. It really keeps you guessing, and season 1 ends on a cliffhanger, so I just really hope there's a season 2 in the works. I want to know what else happens to Dan. I want to know if Melody and her mom, how that goes. There's just so much I want to know. Oh, and before I leave, I have a question that I want people to answer in the comments because I'm just curious and I haven't been able to find it online yet. So in the last ritual we see to call upon Calago, Melody's mother performs the ritual. She puts blood on the statue, but she doesn't sacrifice anyone. And in the previous 2 rituals, we've seen people get sacrificed. And I want to know, does anyone know why that doesn't need to happen this last time? Anyone? I just want to know. Like, I thought she was going to have to sacrifice Mark, the best friend, but then she didn't need to. And I was like, what? Oh, and also, if you started the series and haven't finished it, I know it does start a little slow and it gets confusing at times, but just ride the wave into the next dimension. It's worth it. It's worth it for the end. Just go for it. Just keep watching. All right, and that's it, people. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Have a nice scream. Bye.